ఇదిగిదిగో అందుకోండి అట్లాంటా ఆట సభల పిలుపు. ఇదిగిదిగో అందుకోండి అట్లాంటా ఆట సభల పిలుపు. తెలుగు వారిని కలుసుకోగా అట్లాంటా అభిమానాన్ని పంచుకోగా. ఇదిగిదిగో అందుకోండి అట్లాంటా ఆట సభల పిలుపు. ఆహా బళ ఆట, తెలుగు జాతి బలము ఆట. సకల కళలకు వేదికగా, సేవలకు అఖండ జ్యోతిగా, ఆట ప్రతి అడుగేయంగా ఔన్నత్యం ధర్మపథం సారథులై నడిపించగా. ఆహా బళ ఆట, ఆదర్శం ఆట చరిత. తెలుగు జాతి ప్రకాశాన్ని వెదజల్లగా, యువతరాల ఉన్నతికై ప్రోత్సాహం అందించగా, పలు రంగాల ప్రముఖులను కీర్తించగా చేరండి. నలుదిక్కుల ప్రతిభావంతులను గుర్తించగా కనరండి. సాదరంగా విచ్చేయండి, కలిసి మెలిసి ఆడి పాడండి. ఆహా బళ ఆట, అను పెరుగని శక్తి ఆట. ఆహా బళ ఆట, అసమాన సేవ ఆట, అట్లాంటాలో ఆట.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. ఆటవారు నేడు నిర్వహిస్తున్న ఈ కాలేజ్ అడ్మిషన్స్ అండ్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ ప్లానింగ్ కార్యక్రమానికి అందరికీ సాదర స్వాగతం, ఆత్మీయ స్వాగతం. అమెరికా తెలుగు సంఘం ఆట 3 దశాబ్దాల నుండి ఎన్నో సాంఘిక, సాహిత్య, సాంస్కృతిక, ఆరోగ్య, విద్య, వైద్య, ఇమిగ్రేషన్, యోగా, మెడిటేషన్, క్రీడ ఇలా పలు రంగాల్లో ఎన్నో విధాలుగా సేవలను అందిస్తూ ముందుకు దూసుకెళ్ళిపోతోంది. మెంబర్షిప్ డ్రైవ్స్ నిర్వహిస్తూ ఎంతో మందిని సభ్యులుగా చేర్చుకుంటూ ఆట విస్తరిస్తోంది. స్కూల్ విద్యార్థులకు SIT, ACT సంస్థ ట్రైనింగ్ కొనసాగిస్తోంది. ఈరోజు ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అంటే విద్యారంగానికి సంబంధించిన ఎన్నో ముఖ్యమైన, ఉపయోగకరమైన, ఎంతో విలువైన కార్యక్రమాన్ని ఆట ఈరోజు మీ ముందుకు తీసుకొచ్చింది. ఇది చాలా మందికి ఎన్నో రకాలుగా ఉపయోగపడుతుందని మేము ఆశిస్తున్నాం. కానీ కార్యక్రమం ప్రారంభించే ముందుగా ఆట బోర్డ్ ఆఫ్ ట్రస్టీస్, ఆట 18th కన్వెన్షన్ అండ్ యూత్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ డైరెక్టర్ శ్రీ అనిల్ బోదిరెడ్డి గారిని రాబోయే కన్వెన్షన్ గురించి మాట్లాడవలసిందిగా కోరుతున్నాను. అనిల్ గారు నమస్కారం.
సారీ. థ్యాంక్ యూ రవి గారు. అందరికీ శతకోటి వందనాలు. మనందరికీ తెలుసు, మన ఆట ప్రతి 2 సంవత్సరాలకు కన్వెన్షన్ చేసుకుంటాము అందరం కలిపి వివిధ సిటీస్లో. ఈ సంవత్సరం ఆటా బోర్డు రాబోయే కన్వెన్షన్ అట్లాంటాలో చేయడానికి డిసైడ్ చేయడం జరిగింది. సో మేమందరం కూడా ఆ కన్వెన్షన్ ఏర్పాట్లలో అంగరంగ వైభవంగా చేయడానికి, మన కళలను, మన సంస్కృతిని, మన ముందు తరాలకు అందింపచేయడానికి, సో వివిధ రంగాల విశ్వనాథతను పిలిపించి అందరినీ ఒక తాటికి చేర్చడానికి జరిగే కార్యక్రమాలన్నీ కూడా చేస్తూ వస్తున్నాం. సో మీరందరూ కూడా బ్లాక్ చేసి పెట్టుకోండి. జూన్ 7th, 8th, 9th 2024 మన ఆటా కన్వెన్షన్ అట్లాంటిలో జరగబోతుంది. సో అండ్ ఈ రోజు మనకు అతిథిగా వచ్చిన రవి లోతుమల్ల గారు, థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఫర్ కమింగ్ అండ్ టేకింగ్ దిస్ ఆపర్చునిటీ అండ్ ఎడ్యుకేటింగ్ అవర్ యూత్ ఫర్ దిస్. సో ఇది చెబుతూ ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని స్టార్ట్ చేయవలసిందిగా రవి గారికి చెప్తున్నాను.
ధన్యవాదాలు అనిల్ గారు. విద్యార్థి దశ అంటేనే అకాడమిక్స్ పరంగా ఎన్నో బరువు బాధ్యతలతో కూడుకున్నది. అది అందరికీ తెలిసిందే. అది అందులో ఎన్నో సందేహాలు ఉంటాయి చాలా మందికి. అవన్నీ క్లియర్ చేయడానికి ఒక గైడెన్స్ ఉండడం ఎంతో ముఖ్యం. అది అవసరం మనకి చాలా సార్లు, చాలా సమయాల్లో మనకి అందరికి, ముఖ్యంగా విద్యార్థులకి అనిపిస్తూ ఉంటుంది. ఆ రంగంలో నిష్ణాతులు అంటే ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఎవరైనా మనకి తెలిస్తే బాగుంటుందని చాలా సార్లు కూడా అనిపిస్తుంటుంది. సో ఈ రంగంలో ఎన్నో ఏళ్ల అనుభవాన్ని గడించి ఒక చక్కటి మార్గదర్శకంగా నిలిచారు రవి లోతుమల్ల గారు. ఆయనకున్న లోతైన అనుభవం, పరిజ్ఞానంతో ఈరోజు మనకు ఎన్నో విషయాలు తెలియజేయడానికే కాకుండా అలాగే మన సందేహాలను కూడా నివృత్తి చేయడానికి, క్లారిఫై చేయడానికి సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నారు రవి లోతుమల్ల గారు. రవి గారు నమస్కారం అండి. అకాడమిక్ సీజన్ మొదలైతే చాలు విద్యార్థులందరూ కాలేజ్ అప్లికేషన్స్ తోటి, ఇంకా కెరీర్ ప్లానింగ్ తోటి చాలా హడావుడిగా ఉంటారు. సో ఇప్పుడు వారికి ఉన్న కొన్ని సందేహాలు క్లారిఫై చేసే దిశగా ఈరోజు ఈ కార్యక్రమం కొనసాగుతాను కనుక, కాబట్టి మీకు ఒక మొట్టమొదటి ప్రశ్న ఏంటంటే రవి గారు, ఈ అకాడమిక్స్ ఏమైనా స్టార్ట్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు వన్ ఈస్ ది రైట్ టైం టు స్టార్ట్ ఫర్ SAT అండ్ ACT ప్రిపరేషన్ అండి?
సో ఇక్కడ ACT, SAT అనేది ఎర్లీ ప్రిపరేషన్స్ గా చాలా వరకు స్టార్ట్ చేయొచ్చు అండి. ఎర్లీ ప్రిపరేషన్ అంటే కొంతమంది 4-year ప్రోగ్రామ్ విచ్ ఈస్ లైక్ 9th grade నుంచి కూడా ప్లాన్ చేసుకుంటారు. దట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో గుడ్ ఐడియా. ఒకవేళ ఇంకా కొద్దిగా టైం మెచ్యూరిటీ ఉండాలి స్టూడెంట్స్ అనుకున్నట్టయితే ఐడియల్ గా 10th grade నుంచి కూడా స్టార్ట్ చేస్తుంటారు. దట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో ఏ వెరీ గుడ్ ఐడియా. మన దగ్గర లాంగ్ టర్మ్ కోచింగ్ అని ఎలా ఉంటుందో అలాగే 9th, 10th నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు స్టూడెంట్స్ కు అవగాహన వస్తుంది. తర్వాత దాంట్లో ఉన్న ప్రాక్టికల్ మెథడ్స్, సబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా వాళ్ళకు ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ లాగా వస్తుంది. సో ఐడియల్లీ 10th నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేసినట్టయితే చాలా ఉచితం అని చెప్తాను. అట్ ద సేమ్ దాని తర్వాత 9th, 10th, 11th లో ఎగ్జామ్స్ తీసుకోవడము స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందండి. 11th లేట్ డిసెంబర్ లో ఎగ్జామ్స్ తీసుకోవడం స్టార్ట్ అయిపోతుందండి.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ రవి గారు. హర్షిని కూడా ఉంది, తన స్టూడెంట్. హర్షిని,
hello.
Hi. So as per the question, right? So the time to start for the SAT ST preparations. Do you have any questions for our guest today?
Yes, I do. Just going along with that same vein of the SATs and ACTs, you hear a lot of conflicting thoughts about it. And so I was wondering, how much do the SATs and the ACTs actually weigh on your college application? And if you do score badly, is there anything you can do to make up for that?
That's a very good question, Harshini. So of late, since pandemic, there was a declaration from certain universities stating that most of the schools are going as test optional. That means it is under the assumption that the parents or the students should feel that it's only like an assumption that ACT and SAT scores do not matter for any of the college admissions. But if you look into any of the scenarios or any of the years, ranked schools from the Times Higher Education and particularly Simon schools, they always said that this is test optional, but if you look into the departmental programs and other things, subject areas, then this makes a vital difference when a student is applying for certain programs. So my suggestion to every student is, though you may feel that it is test optional, you should still be attempting to take the SAT and ACT, which will have a broader impact on your scholarships and many other applications within the application area. The other question that you asked was, what if a student is scoring low? Will there be any impact on the application process? The answer is yes and no. When I say yes, if you are having better scores, it's always better. Absolutely not a good idea. If you're not able to, if the student is not able to score better, it should be having a holistic decision in terms of other areas, be it GPA, weighted and unweighted GPA, be it the extracurricular activities, be it subject areas, be it clubs, and all those things. There may be some reason why a student is not able to do better on the SAT AST score on that particular day. However, there is a super score in all these areas. So students have multiple options, multiple opportunities to perform better either on SAT or ACT, and the schools will be considering the super score. Hence, I think the students should attempt, and at the same point of time, need not worry if they are not able to do well on the SAT ACT scores.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you, Ravi garu. So
Thank you.
yeah, I'm starting the right time for preparing for SAT and ACT is a key. While doing that, see, we have a lot of colleges, right, who they're accepting the applications, and they too are busy accepting the applications from students everywhere from across the country. So in this process, when should the college application processing start by identify those schools, etc.?
See, this is a college application process seems very simple and easy. If you look into it only at a very local schools from wherever the student is pursuing their education. I am from state of Texas, so obviously, if a student is opting to go to some schools within the state of Texas, ideally that is a good time to start. Maybe in the early June is also okay for every student. But if a student is having rigor and wants to plan and is open for across all the good schools or quality Ivy schools or top ranked schools, it is highly recommended that the student should be in a position to start very early, very early. So I will tell you the reason why we're starting very early. So here, when you look into the college admissions, there are two areas, primarily the college admissions area and the career area. When it comes to college admissions area, the strategy that a student or the parents are going to adopt depends on what schools they are planning to apply. For example, the NACAC rules and regulations and the NACAC's findings state that 20% of the population are having predefined plans for their college education, college admissions, and the subject areas that they are interested in. 80% of the time, they are changing their majors. If a student is changing their majors 80% of the time, then I would still recommend that they start early processing. However, for those students who are predetermined about the program, about the degree, about the longevity plans, about their eventually what exactly they want to become, usually they start planning by about 9th grade onwards. The reason why I say that they should start early is because there are more than 6,000 plus schools in the United States that are offering bachelor's program. How many schools will a student apply? Between 6 and 8 is an average. And at the max, they go up to 15 and 20. And anything beyond 20 is kind of a rare. You can say one in several thousands. So within this statistics, if you're applying to the state school, if you're applying to the universities within the state of where you reside, which you call it as an in-state, for those schools, if you're starting to apply from June onwards, it should be okay. But if you're looking for something like let's start deeply percolating into scholarships, the programs, the other research areas, and all those things. The ideal way of starting the school and identifying the school should be done from late ninth, early of 10th or mid of 10th grade, which is sophomore area. So I would say that you should start discussing, start planning, start thinking about college admissions only from sophomore area, that is the 10th grade onwards. Again, the second thing is a lot of schools at the same point of time, every student has to undergo a lot of clubs, PPAs, HOSA, so many things are there within the school. So these are all the natural and the part of the school activities. If you look into this universities or the colleges that are making any decisions, these students, these colleges are looking for what is that unique selling point or unique differentiation between one student with the other, then I would suggest every student to deviate from their normal standard school clubs and all those things, come out with other plans, and then that should be starting to identify your area of interest. And from that interest, you have to start looking into how you can better, how you can improve, how you can gain a lot of knowledge, experience, finding mentors. All these things come under career planning. We should hypothetically start from the freshman onwards, which is ninth grade. So there are two components of it at a very high level: college admissions component, which you can start from anywhere from mid sophomore onwards, and that is 10th grade onwards, or somebody is also starting from 11th grade onwards, which is quite good. That is not a problem. You're not late at all. But if you're able to start it early, it is always better. Start talking about it. You have ample time rather than getting into the very last minute and rushing it. Do your due diligence, because if you're looking for best schools, they are always looking for essays, supplemental essays, and interviews. And all these things are a, a good process that every student has to undergo. I hope you got the answer, Ravi.
Yeah, that's a very valuable information. Thank you, Raghir. Yeah, so the earlier the better, right? So, Harshini, so do you have any questions in this regard?
So I'm applying to college right now, and I hear a lot of words about your safety schools and your stretch schools. So I was wondering, is there a proper, like a correct ratio of safety schools to stretch schools you should have?
Every school sets a certain amount of scores, that these are the median scores that are required to get accepted into a school, be it the SAT or the ACT. Will there be any deviations from the norm, those standards? Absolutely yes, because the college selection process for every student is not just on the SAT, ACT scores, but it is a holistic application. The decisions are made holistically, because for that particular school or a college or a university, the applicant pools are coming from across the United States if it is a domestic student, and across the world if it is an international student. So they want to balance the cohort in the class to make sure that there is a good amount of balance within the program and also within the class. And and hence, if there is any kind of a deviation from those expected standards of the SAT, ACT scores, it is expected that either your GPA should be higher or your other club should be higher, or even the reference should be very great. So all these things matter a lot when a program or a school is making any decisions.
Wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
So 6,000 is definitely an exorbitant number of colleges. Even I didn't know that. Yeah. So in this process, Ravi garu, so now arises the point of confusion. Like, where should they send their kids? అంటే స్టేట్ యూనివర్సిటీస్ పంపించాలా లేకపోతే అవుట్ ఆఫ్ స్టేట్ యూనివర్సిటీస్ పంపించాలా అనేది ఇది నాకు తెలిసి దిస్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ interest or confusion is there probably at every home. So how do you say about this in state and out of state, please?
Sir, this is a very good question. When I counsel students, can I counsel especially parents? There's a lot of churning goes on. So I'll give you a very broader aspect and a very specific. I do not take any examples of any name, but I only refer for based out of my experience with the parents as well as the students. So let's talk about the universities first. There are overall 6,000 plus universities which are offering bachelor's program in the United States. So the student is eligible to apply for any of these schools. But I'm not even including community colleges. So community colleges are different again. So even in these 4-year colleges, which is 4-year colleges, right? So there is something called as state universities as well as private universities. That is one segregation. Out of state and in state is another segregation. Generally, any college counselor mandates to talk about what is the right fit for the student or the family. Now, the right fit for one student and one family may be different from the other student and the other family. In my view of suggesting a student what is the right fit is go to a school where first identify is the student is having any kind of a preference in terms of a school of his or her choice. If so, is that the school, is it the right program that the student is looking for? If so, is it an in-state or an out-of-state? If so, then are the parents capable enough or able to fund the program on their own or take any FAFSA or any external loans? These are all the options. Mind very clearly. If somebody says that if you graduate from any school or every school, it's the same, there is no difference as such. It is not the school that there are several parameters that we can discuss about in terms of how the school can impact your or influence your, or maybe in longevity, it will help you in your academics or in your future life. So the good thing, let me just talk about, educate something about in-state also. For example, in where I am staying, it's in state of Texas. The students from state of Texas can apply to any of the neighboring states called Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. All these states have an understanding that it is a reciprocatory agreement that a student from Oklahoma can come and study in Texas. He will still be considered as an in-state tuition fees. Vice versa with all these, Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas, they have a MOU or understanding that these have a reciprocatory agreements between these states that the student can go and study. Now, the other top schools, if they are going into any of the top schools or the ranked schools, then if they are again deviating from that particular, for example, in the state of Texas, UT Austin is a state school and is a ranked school. If a student is coming from Michigan area and studying in UT Austin, then he will be considered as an out-of-state student. So he has to, though his visa status might be a citizen or a permanent resident, he should still be paying the out-of-state tuition fees. So these are the things. Will there be any difference in terms of the outcomes? It is all about the student and how the student is able to capitalize, use, or make a difference with using this degree makes a difference. In terms of right fit, what is the right fit? A right fit for a student might be the several parameters. One, the student may say that the students might say, or the parents might see that college is a preference, tuition fee is a preference, location is a preference, scholarships are a matter, and or maybe tuition is a matter, or relativity is a matter, or the location might be a preference. So all these things matter a lot. But my broader suggestion to every parent and every student is go for a quality education where you will be able to afford, and the affordability could be uh, dive deep into how the education can be funded through any other sources. At least you can have be fortunate that you'll have, especially the citizens empowerment residents have the FAFSA loans as a backup, that they don't have to worry about it, or any external funding or any kind of a scholarship that are available based on the family's income situation. So I believe that this is a broader information that is beneficial for every student and their families. Thank you, sir, Ravi garu.
థ్యాంక్ యూ రవి గారు. సో మనకి వ్యూవర్స్ దగ్గర నుంచి కూడా మనకి క్వశ్చన్స్ వస్తున్నాయి. సో ఫర్ ఆల్ ద వ్యూవర్స్ హూ ఆర్ వాచింగ్ దిస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్, ప్లీజ్ పోస్ట్ యువర్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇన్ ద ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ కామెంట్స్. We'll take all the questions, and Ravi Lotmal garu, he will address it at the end of this session. Probably we'll give 30 minutes for all the questions to be answered. So please post your questions, keep them coming. So Harshini, so do you have any questions here?
Yes, I was wondering about early action and early decision. I've heard a lot from everyone that you should prefer early action over early decision, but are there any scenarios where you should go early decision opposed to early action, or regular opposed to either of those?
So Harshini, that is a very good question. But I will suggest the students to be, and the parents to be well informed and make a judicious decision when they are going for any of these early decisions or early actions. So until few years back, you can say that last maybe about less than 5 to 10 years back, they started this concept of early action and early decision. What exactly the schools are trying to do? They are trying to pick up students who have already applied and then give them the offerings. When you say even the offerings, they are making early decision on this particular application, and they say that, hey, student X, we have decided to give you a place in this program, where if you make a decision to join us, you are committing to stick to us and then continue your education in our school, and you're stopping every school from applying to any other school. So the decision is yours. So they gave approximately about a month to 2 months of time to make a good decision. And then within this also, they may have, okay, this is what we are offering in terms of scholarship. This is what is your tuition fee. This is the 4-year strategic plan for all your education and all those things. So the student and the parents are well informed. So there are two things over here. One, in the positive side, if that is your dream school that you're looking for and you got accepted into the school, probably you can accept it, and then you can just ignore any regular applications you're looking for any others from any other schools. The positive side is that is the school that the student has decided and the parent has decided, and the parents are interested in sending their kids to that particular school. So you are very fortunate to say that you got your decision early, which is probably by the end of between December and January, you got everything and you're set. So let me put it the other way around. If you are looking for certain schools that you are interested, these are some of your dream schools, and you got accepted into a school X that you have applied, but you're also anticipating to get acceptance into another school. For example, you got into Duke, but you are interested in something like UC Berkeley or UCLA or Santa Barbara or any other schools, right? So this becomes a quite intricate thing to make a decision whether I should accept Duke or whether you should hold on to the UCLA or UC Berkeley or Barbara or any other schools. Okay, so this requires a little deeper knowledge in terms of at least a parent to discuss to figure it out how the majors and the schools are able to help the students in a longer way, that is in the entire future, which is like the student is going to be there for the next 4 years. Okay, so the students or the parents have to make a decision whether the student is able to do the go to that particular school, do the program and come back, but not repenting that, oh, I got into this particular school called Duke, but I was more interested in Berkeley, then that means you should hold off to these early action centers, because probably the time difference between acceptances from these schools might also differ. Like for example, you may come back early and say that, okay, this is the stipulated deadline. You make a decision either on this particular day, you got it, or otherwise we are putting you into a regular pool, regular admissions. On the same lines, the other school might may come back later after the deadline is over, and they come back and say that, hey, now we opened up for this particular school called UCLA or UC Berkeley, and then now you have to make a decision. So this becomes quite confusing. So it is better that you make a very careful decision in terms of when you're applying for early actions and early decisions, to make sure that that is the school of your choice. Because once you sign the contract, once you make a decision, you cannot, you have to drop all other schools and join them, because that's what they are expected from the student and the parents. So you have to carefully navigate especially when you are applying for these kind of schools, and especially make a chart of yourself to figure it out. Hey, programs, schools, majors, scholarship, timelines, costs, and other external expenses like the dorms or whatever you have in mind. Then those are all the things, parameters that need to consider, especially from the parental standpoint. They all need to consider, and then see if they can make a good decisions on this one. I hope you got some clarity, Harshini.
All right. Look like Harshin is good there. Thank you, Ravi garu. సో
Good.
ఇప్పుడు ఇందాక మీరు మేజర్ గురించి దాని గురించి మాట్లాడారు. బట్ ఇప్పుడు మనకి మేజర్, డ్యూయల్ డిగ్రీ, మేజర్ అండ్ మైనర్ ఇలా కొన్ని ఉన్నాయి కదా ఆప్షన్స్. సో ఏ ఆప్షన్స్ బెటర్ అండి మనకి?
ఇది ఏ ఆప్షన్స్ బెటర్ అంటే, one, a student can major in a particular course and a minor in, you can do example, you can do a computer science major with a minor in finance, or you can do a major in finance and minor in law, or major in law and minor in economics. So these are all different permutations and combinations. So the best thing is, if a student is interested in any particular area of interest, and that is the area or that is the subject that the student should be interested in pursuing their degree as a major. At the same point of time, if they want to do something, okay, have a interest in major called computer science, but I'm interested in starting in, I'm more interested in kind of an entrepreneurship, or maybe like a leadership skills, or start up my own company and all those things. You can go for minor in entrepreneurship, minor in finance, minor in economics, minor in even all the business also. All these things will help you out. Now, one thing the parent has to understand and know about is, so I strongly recommend every parent to talk to the department as well as the program advisor later on. Because if a student is making a major decision, they're making a decision on the major as well as the minor, along with the other courses, then eventually midway through the course, the advisor is going to ask the student if he or she has made a right decision, and if they are able to make a difference in themselves, and are they able to fulfill what they are looking for. So these are all the things that the parents have to understand and then educate themselves, because most of the first generation parents, they do not have a good, I would like to say at least 80 to 85 or 90% of the parents do not have quite a good understanding about college admission process. So this is about the majors as well as the minor. What is the dual majors, or what is the dual degrees? There are other options. Let's say, for example, student has started something like a computer science. Example is a computer science, and now he wants to do what is called information systems as well. So he'll get a dual degree with a MS in computer, with a degree in computer science and information systems. But now he doesn't have to do all the, he or she doesn't have to do all the courses. Only those courses that are required to complete the information systems, information or a management system, only those courses need to be complete so that the student gets a dual degree. Okay. For example, right now, as I'm speaking, like I'm pursuing my Master of Arts in Career Counseling from North Carolina Central University. I also have an option to do my second major as a school counseling. But I said I'll make a decision only around the end part of the time, whether I'm interested. If so, I do not have to take all the courses, but there may be about 9 credit hours or maybe 3 courses or something like that to finish up my dual degree program. So that is, I'll be getting a degree in college, career counseling, and also getting a degree in school counseling as well. So this is about the dual degree. I may also take within this program, I may do college counseling as a career counseling as a major and a minor as psychology also. That means my major is career counseling, but the minor could be clinical psychology or family psychology or family psychologies or any other things. So these are all the things that are important, especially from the student and most importantly from the parent standpoint of view, to make sure that this degree, be it a major or a minor, is going to help the student in their career perspective.
Okay. So while studying the bachelor's, change of majors, how do you think we should see that, Ravi garu?
So this is another area which I focus at the same point of time. I would like to suggest every student and most importantly the parents to have an open-minded discussion with every kid. Let there not be any pressure or any kind of a circumventing solutions or suggestions that, oh, I followed what exactly my dad and my brother said in India. Absolutely not. Here, a student will be pursuing a major of his choice or a degree of his choice, and he wants to pursue his area of interest. The same interest you may not see from your end at the same point of time. You may also think that a student is interested in these kind of majors. I don't see any perspective or any future in this. That should not be the question. That should not be the question. For example, if you see that a student is interested in majority of the time, he's interested in music or he's interested in or bands or he's interested in some areas called economics. I was encountering a family where a student was interested in economics and the father and the parents were more interested in computer science. The only reason is because in computer science, you complete your degree in 4 years, but immediately after the 4 years, you're going to get a job and not the, we do not, I don't know the future of economics. So when that particular family, I met with them and all that I told him is, you're pushing the student to study a subject that a student is not interested in. The student is not going to excel. Okay, the student is not going to excel. So let's dive down and dig deep into the student's area of interest and figure it out why the student is interested in economics. What does that student speak about economics? What is the student's interest in economics? And how do they foresee their future in economics? And when we are talking about all these things, the student had quite a deeper understanding about economics with a minor in art. I was surprised that the student was very good and he or she was interested in minor in art and majoring in economics. And after one semester or one semester or two, the student clearly told that because of you, I'm pursuing my computer science. But after one semester or 2 semesters, I think the student changed the major and said, no, I'm not interested in computer science. It is not interesting for me. So I've decided to go my own way and I decided to study what is called economics. So choosing a major, that is very important, and leave it to the best to the students. You can discuss with any counselor and talk about what are the career prospects in this particular area if they are looking for, and how this career area may be impactful to the student and puts him in a better situation or a position. Understand from the student's perspective. The student's perspective might be different and you may not have the same vision as what the student might be looking for. But at the same point of time, it is not advisable for any parent or anybody to pressure upon or tell the student or insist upon pursuing certain amount of majors because you are graduating early and you're settling down in your life. That's not what it is. Student has to enjoy what he or she is studying. That's very important in deciding a major. NACAC rules and regulations. The NACAC body says that 80% of the time a student makes a decision which 80% of the time the student's majors are changing. It is okay. It is absolutely okay. Don't worry about it. Let's not worry about it. About okay, I'm spending this much amount of money on a tuition fee, but eventually the student is not studying this one, and student is not studying what exactly he doesn't know anything, or she doesn't know anything. Let's not put it into that kind of a situation. Show the student the avenues or the opportunities that are existing. So do a due amount of due diligence, and then there are a lot of opportunities, especially for US citizens and permanent residents. It is not necessary that you have to do only this course and then you have to work only in that area. The student will eventually, wherever the student is working, the student has to enjoy. The student will be able to make a difference for them, and they are the ones who are leading a happy life. We want all our kids to lead a happy, enjoyable life in there and enjoy the profession that they are in, especially. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Ravi garu. That's a valuable information. Also, scholarships and internships are there, another two key areas. So before we get to them, let me say that our viewers are actively involved and they're posting the questions. So I would say to all the viewers, keep your questions coming in. We'll take them in a couple of minutes. So Ravi garu will be providing his expert advice on scholarships and internships. So Ravi garu, సో ఇప్పుడు స్కాలర్షిప్స్ అంటే చాలా మంది స్టూడెంట్స్ స్కాలర్షిప్స్ గురించి చూస్తుంటారు. సో కెన్ యూ ప్లీజ్ త్రో సమ్ లైట్ ఓవర్ దేర్ ప్లీజ్?
Scholarships, every school will have scholarships. Okay. All these schools, they are there to give scholarships based on the merit. There is no dependency on visa. There may come, there's some students may come, parents may come back, hey, I'm on a H1 visa, I'm on a dependent visa, I'm on a B1 visa, and whatever it is, whatever the visa that they are looking for. My friend told me that my kids are not eligible. No, absolutely. Nobody is a decision maker over here. It's not me, it's not you, it's not your friend, it's not the community. It's the school, it's the program that they are making decisions. So the students are eligible for all the merit-based scholarships. So there is no particular distinction on differentiation in terms of where they are coming from or the gender. It's all about the merits.
Okay.
And likewise, there are a lot of scholarships available in the program, in the school, so many external scholarships. And trust me that you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. We are in the process of collecting several thousands of scholarship avenues that are there available for every school, every student across entire United States. I'm not talking about any particular state or a city or a particular college, but these scholarships are across entire United States. And they don't, these scholars, the people who are funding these scholarship, maybe the private parties. So they don't care whether a student is from any part of the world or not. All that they look at is the student having the merit, is a student a merit scholarship? That's about it. That's what they care.
Okay. So also for the internships, like many students, they go for voluntary services, community services, right? So when should they usually start and how are they going to help towards the internships?
So especially Ravi Garu, this is my so let me just give you a preamble about what exactly, how the internships and all those things work. So I started exploring about career counseling and internship opportunities from the technical standpoint of view and all those things way back in 2020. So yeah, I'm talking about more than 13 plus years. The reason being, I was an international student and I had it was very tough for me to challenging for me to apply for internships. I don't know guidance and all those things. That's where 2017 we registered a non-profit entity deals with exclusively with internships for high school, gap year, and college students. This is a non-profit entity. Again, I want to make it very clear. This is a non-profit entity called 501c3. what is the purpose and objective of our company is called? The name of the company is called First Experience, number 1 stexperience.org. Okay. What is the purpose of this First Experience? First Experience provides experiential services for high school, gap year, and college students. And we are planning to tie up directly with the corporates. The internships could be in any field. It could be in IT, it could be in medical, it could be in dental, it could be in optometry, it could be in physics, it could be in engineering, it could be in biology, it could be in films, it could be in writing, it should be legal or anything, or any field that the student is interested in. If a corporation or if a company or an individual or an entity wants to have interns, right, want to have interns, then they can approach through us and we are going to source them to the corporates or the companies or the professionals. Bear in mind that we do not charge even a penny to the students. So there is no charge, there is no cost involved to the students. Absolutely not. So for example, I am in touch with a couple of attorneys in the Texas areas where they are looking for interns to work for them as a paralegals, or who can improve their drafting skills, or who can write or get some kind of hands-on experience. So these are all the things that the students are eligible for that one. Now the question here is, are the internships for every student, or is the internship, or are the internships for every student, or is it only for US citizens or permanent residents, or for that matter H4 dependents? I don't have anything to say on that. I'm not the one who makes a decision. It is the employer who makes a decision. For example, I'm working closely with a company where they are saying that they are going to fund us, but their challenge is to hire domestic citizens and permanent residents only because of their company rules and regulations. These are corporate decisions. That's not mine. Let's say if a doctor is there, I spoke to a dentist, and then last week I met with a dentist and I said, Dr. So-and-so, what about some kind of an experiential services or internships? They said, they are open. They said, we don't, all that I'm looking for a qualified people who are very much interested in this subject. For me, the visa does not matter at all, whether it is an international student or whether it is a domestic student. Whether the student is interested in this subject area or the dentistry, that is what is more important. So what I'm trying to tell you is all these things, the students should start volunteering right from the 9th grade onwards, called career counseling. As I told you in the beginning of my introduction, that I am doing my MA in career counseling from North Carolina Central University. That is what I am learning in terms of my subject. Though I have nearly about 15 plus years of experience in the same field, I am still going to the school to get a degree or a paperwork. But I understand from the technical standpoint of view and professional standpoint of view, the students are eligible for internships right from their 9th grade onwards. So students should start as volunteers in that particular area, show their interest, and then move up the ladder, get references, show that they are interested in that particular area, go deep into the subject, and then you should be in a position to all these things will make up something on your resume on your resume and build your references. Once you're applying with all these internships, and I think so, I'll definitely tell you that if you carefully plan, then your entire career becomes much easier and much better holistically. So to sum up, internships, you are eligible right from your 9th grade onwards.
That's so wonderful to know, Ravi. Thank you very much. So, Harshini, do you have any questions here? So we have 10 minutes to open up the questions to viewers. So we have so many questions so far. So we'll go, before Ravi Garu addresses those questions, we'll let Harshini ask your question and address that one. And after that, in 10 minutes, we'll go to the viewers' questions. Okay, go ahead, Harshini.
So Ravi Garu, I was wondering, when is the ideal time to start applying for scholarships?
Along with the application, whenever the student is applying to the school, there is a scholarship form as well. The student needs to apply. So submit both the applications together, and the scholarship department will take care of the scholarship. The admissions department will take care of the admissions. So it's ideal that that the student is applying together. You don't want to miss you don't want to miss the scholarships, right? Hey, I submitted the application, but I did not know that I have to submit the scholarship application along with the main application itself. So that may put you into a different situation called you applied for the admissions, but not for the scholarships. So you're not entitled for the scholarships. It is recommended, it's highly recommended, advised that both the applications should go in parallel.
Okay, and I was also wondering what your thoughts were about double majoring, about doing two majors at once, especially if they're like different majors, like just, for example, if I want to major in computer science, but also musical theater, where they have a lot of different courses, would you recommend it if someone thinks they're able to do it, or would you not?
Whether the student is able to do it or not, it depends on the interest. If the student is interested in, the student is definitely able to make plans, adjust the times, and focus on the area of interest. And the student will definitely will be able to. There is nothing called the student is not able to do it or not because of the time constraints. Primarily, the student is able to do whatever the student is interested in. However, for any reason, for some situation, reasons, if they are not able to, if they are not able to cope up with the coursework or the coursework, loads of coursework, assignments, quarterlies, pop-ups, quiz, and all those things, you can always uh, substitute it with a later part of the time that they can finish up this same course as a minor also later on. Or you can do something from community college as well. Absolutely not a problem at all, as long as the student is interested in it. But whatever the student is whatever the student is interested in, he should be able to excel, and not only that, enjoy the program. That's very important.
Okay, does applying undecided to college affect your chances of getting in or like getting into programs at all whatsoever? Like, does it help or hurt anything?
It will not hurt. Let me put it this way, it will not hurt. Will it help? Probably it will help. It will definitely help. But if you're not undecided, if you're not undecided with any of the majors, so basically you're not projecting, you're not portraying, you're not telling exactly that what exactly is something that you're interested in. So that when you start applying, let's say a student is undecided and another student is decided. So you can always see that, hey, a student who is decided will make a kind of a progress in that particular area. But if it is undecided, so you will get a degree, that is not a problem at all. But at the same point of time, I would say that you should be in a position to start identifying what is that you're interested in, so that you should be able to decide a major and then pursue your major in that particular area. Otherwise, you end up with a bachelor's degree, and then later on what? Where are you interested in working? What are the kind of internship? What kind of jobs are you looking for? Well, that also makes a difference. Yes, it is quite possible that there might be a lot of students who might be undecided in the beginning, but as they progress in their education or in their career or in their days, they might take some kind of a breaks, maybe like a gap year, and then still they may not be decided. But if they are doing something called study abroad opportunities in the gap year, they may come back and say, "Hey, I found something, and I'm now interested in so and so. I decided that this is what I'm looking for." Absolutely, these are all the quite uh, complex complex possibilities, complex outcomes that we see all the times. Initially, it may be undecided. Later on, that same student might excel in that particular area. Okay, so absolutely, the success of the student is more important for every school or every student or any family in the society.
And one more thing, I know most of the people watching today are immigrant families, and some of the kids that are applying to college now are still on dependence visas. So, how does that affect their application process?
So the application process for bachelor's is different and the master's is different. So for the bachelor's, the decision factors are almost the same because the calculating engine is the same. Okay, the calculating engine between how the decisions are made the same. But the difference is only in the amount of tuition fee. International student applications pay 3 times more than what a domestic student pays. So the parent has to decide. And the outcome of the major is also make a dependency, because if the student is having a dependent visa or any kind of H4 or whatever, F2 visa or whatever it is, then the student, then there are immigration impacts. So all these things, a student or a parent has to weigh and openly discuss with the right people in this field who is having much experience. It is not that the challenges are tough, but I will tell you that if a student is more interested and very passionate about that particular area, let the student go for it. A student will make it eventually. So that is not a problem at all. So having a dependent visa, maybe like a H1 or a H4 or an F1 or an F2 or any kind of a visa that has a that are who are not non-citizens or permanent residents, they should not worry about it. But there are minor changes that they should tweak so that the student should not have an impact on these visa situations.
And for that extra amount they pay, is there any way to like minimize that with like aid? Is there any type of aid you can use? Like, does FAFSA apply? Or no?
Could you come again, ma'am, once again?
Is there any type of aid you can, if like you are you are on a dependence visa and your parents are paying that 3 times more, is there any type of aid that you can use to minimize that? Like, does FAFSA apply to people on dependence visas or no?
So FAFSA or any federal loans are only for US citizens and permanent residents. A student, if he is on a dependent visa, a student is not eligible for any kind of a federal grants or federal loans. It is, first of all, they are not entitled for any of those things. However, a student can qualify for all the scholarships, not the grants, but all the scholarships. There is no distinction or differentiation between an international student or a domestic student, irrespective of the visa or whatever it is, not the economic situations, nothing. A student's merit is something that is going to be decision factors for all these scholarships. For all the aids, they're not even entitled for that one. So with that said, there are other options that the parents have to look after that. One, the easiest and the best option is funding from their own source. Two, then there are external loan providers with co-guarantor as an internet. For example, a borrower is an international student or an international parent, but co-signer is a permanent resident or a citizen. They can still get it because all these funds will be on the name of a co-signer. That is one option. Second option is there are certain banks which offer collateral or non-collateral funding for international applications. So those are some of the banks that they have. Those are some of the financial institutions that these applicants have to approach for the sake of funding. The other ways of fundings are, of late, there are something called as employer sponsorship fundings or any kind of an external funders. There are some people, income share agreements, or those are the people. But you should be able to talk to them directly and first explain before I go halfway through the application. Here is my visa status. Is this something that I'm eligible for, especially for this loan or any kind of a funding? Is there something? Then on the very first step, you will come to know whether the answer is yes or no. So there are opportunities and avenues. The parents should quite be in a position to explore all these things. That's very important.
Okay, thank you, Ravi Garu. That's all I had.
మ్యూట్ లో ఉన్నారు సార్. సార్ మీరు మ్యూట్ లో ఉన్నారు. ఇప్పుడు వినబడుతుందండి. లేదు, వినబడట్లేదు మళ్ళీ.
Is it better now?
ఎస్, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఆల్ రైట్. సో మనం ఇప్పుడు వ్యూయర్స్ క్వశ్చన్స్కి మనం ఓపెన్ చేద్దాం. చాలా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నాయి అక్కడ. సో ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ రవి గారు ఫ్రమ్ రీతన్ Ritam Guba. The question is your country of citizenship considered in college applications? For instance, if you grew up and went to high school in the US but were born in India, how does it affect your application? That's the question.
Some schools consider it, some schools do not consider it. For example, straight away, rather than being shooting it in the air, if a student is studying in the state of Texas, pursuing their high school, when they're applying for the college, they are considered as an institution fees. So you're lucky enough. So student visa is not dependent on that areas, especially. So it all depends on the school. Some schools do not consider it at all. So you have to be very careful when you are applying. This is what you have to talk to the students, to the admissions office, and also to the international admissions office about their tuition fees based on their visa situation and based in their high school that they are studying.
Okay. So the next question is from Srinivas Kurla. Is a pre-med to medical college program very difficult to get in based on the stats? If the student is undecided, is it possible to switch the program after 1-2 years of undergrad program? That's the question.
Switching program is absolutely a student's choice, and they can always switch the program. That is not a problem at all. If the student is not able to, if the student is undecided or unable to make it to that particular program, that does not mean to say that he is the right fit into that. He may be interested in something else. So he can always change the major, and then he can always pursue whatever the area that the student is interested in. So absolutely, they can change the majors.
Okay. So the next question is from Satya Karra. The question is, what extracurriculars do you need to get into computer science school if you don't take the course in school? That's the question.
So based on this question itself, eventually down the lane, probably you can say later part of this year or early of next year, we are coming up with the different options on First Experience, our company firstexperience.org, where there are a lot of areas that is called boot camps, certificate programs, or short-term courses, or projects, or any kind of an experiential services that you can gain that will help you to build your application, that will help you to get into schools, and that will have an impactful difference when you're choosing a major. So, example, you may not do something right now, but for the nearest school that you're applying, attend some of the summer workshops, or there are a lot of summer schools that these courses are offering. Maybe like example, if you're into cybersecurity or whatever it is, whatever they are offering, just there are all these schools, every school offers summer programs, pre-college programs, all these things. Even in a community college, attend those things. If not, even if you are going for any of the work experience, these are all the things that are counted. So absolutely, these are all the things that are going to help you to show that you are interested in that particular area and build. These are the things that should be portrayed on the resume that will help every school to make a decision. One of the most important things that I would like to suggest every student and educate every parent is anything and everything. A resume is something that will be that you are reflecting about a student's entire holistically about a student entire profile. So project as much as possible that a student has done his or her work, be it in music and dance, be it in any of the cricket clubs, be it in any of the competitions, be it in starting a club on their own. Absolutely. These are all the things that he has participated in a research project, and he has contributed some of the articles, and he won some of the competitions, and he is doing something as a community service. And these are all the things that are going to help. And people come back and say that, hey, you know what, my son or a daughter has been volunteering in in a particular temple or a church and serving devotees. That is not a, this is only a voluntary hours, but that is not going to make a difference in terms of your application. So if you're working in a temple or whatever it is, that if you see that there, that anybody can be doing it. Versus if you say that I've seen one student who is more interested in stocks and bonds, and then he is interested in developing applications in technology, Java, and then he's doing on his own. He's not dependent. He's not working anywhere. He's doing on his own, and he's having a website and all those things. I was so impressed in that, and I said, "This is something that is going to help you out. You have a mentor." I said, "Yeah, I have a mentor, and who is it?" Oh, I said, "Who guided you?" "Oh, this was what all I liked it, and okay, did your parents help you?" I don't think so that they know what I'm doing it, and then this is what I'm finding it on my own and exploring. I said, nothing like it. The best. You have something to speak. You have something to say, especially in the interview. You speak about it. That's what it says. That's what it matters. And then,
Great. So the next question is from BL Vijay Kumar sir. So heard some universities offering 7-year MED program. How this is different from the full MED program? That is the question.
So there are 17 schools across the US which are offering BSMD programs, and other ones are the regular ones. So the good side, if you are going for a BSMD program, which is if you are getting accepted into the program, then that means you know for sure that you are pursuing that medical stream. Okay. However, unless you clear those exams, all the USMLE step 1, step 2, step 3, that's not, you are not called as a doctor and you cannot pursue your residency. So that means you are also carrying a kind of a risk, but you might be decided the student might be able to definitely make it and then pursue the degree. That is quite good. And otherwise, most of the students take biology as a biology or the undergrad as a major, undergrad, maybe some biology or chemistry or pharmacy as a major, and then eventually start exploring some kind of a work experience or gain some kind of a research experience, and then start preparing for the USMLE, and that's where, or MCAT, whatever MCAT, then that's where that is the alternate route. Advantage with them is they are able to quickly they are able to find different things within that non the BSMD programs, and versus the BSMD program, then they are mainly focusing on directly on the medical areas. Will there be any difference in terms of? Absolutely not. Absolutely not a difference at all. So ultimately, you're clearing the exams, whether you're taking the BSMD program or non-BSM, non or the general program, it is all. Maybe a year later, you might save a year or two, but ultimately, if a student is passionate about their interest or the subjects, then that year or two makes no difference at all.
Perfect. So the next question is from Sid K. They're asking funding for college programs, any pitfalls for putting in 502 plan impacting scholarships? Do you suggest prepaying college credits in advance? Can you suggest any other ways to save for college? That's the question.
So all these things come under financial planning. Okay. But I would like to give a writer over here that I'm not a certified financial planner, or I'm not a CFP, called Certified Financial Planner. I'm giving you this information only out of the basic knowledge that I gained out of my experience, but I do not have an authenticated source to say that this is what is the right information. For example, when my daughter was applying for the schools, then we explored all these things. That's where I made a note, and then that's what I'm conveying the message to you, which I'm just reading it from. There are 529 plans, Coverdell plans, the UTMA plans called Uniform Transfer to Minors and Uniform Gifts to Minors Act, Trust, and then these are all the things that are quite possible. Now, how you can fund your program? A financial planner or a financial institution or an expert who has done all these things, and you should be able to focus on your family's entire situation, because it is not, it may not be just the job or the business that we are talking about. You might have invested in your 401k, the IRAs, Roth IRA or SEP IRA and all these things. That, or if you are able to save for the colleges using the tuition assistance programs offered by within the state, these are all the things that will help you out. Again, bear in mind some of the plannings that you are saving already, pre-planning, that might have a bearing on your scholarships and your financial aids as well. FAFSA is different from FAFSA is different. FAFSA is pulling your entire information from the IRS based on your tax returns. However, all these financial planning will either directly or indirectly will have an impact on your funding or on your merit-based scholarships are different from need-based scholarships. Merit-based scholarships have no dependency at all. You might be filthy rich, you might be doing everything, you don't need money at all, you don't need anything also, but still the student might be qualified for a merit-based scholarship. But if you are looking for any kind of a funding from the school, funding from the department based on your financial capabilities, then all these things will definitely make an impact on your educational plans. So you have to be very, very careful or to navigate very carefully, because you say that, okay, I'm planning all these 529 plans, Coverdale plans, but I did not know that my financial planner did not tell me that my daughter or son is not eligible for any kind of a funding. Hey, these are the things that is the reason why it is very complex, very complex. It looks very simple, very complex. And to be honest with you, it's very challenging also when you are applying for financial aids and scholarships. You have to be very, very careful. It is not just you are talking to your friend and family, or it is not the same solution or the same situation. There are no, for both the students or for both the families, it may be a different problem or a different solution. There is nothing called one size fits all. Absolutely not.
Okay. So the next question is from Leela Surupaneni. Should my kid include JV sports into activities?
Should my kid include?
JV sports. I don't know what JV is, but should my kid include JV sports into activities?
I mean,
probably...
if it is in anything and everything that student is interested in the field or excelling in that field, it is always better to say that. It depends. Suppose if I tell you that, okay, my kid is playing soccer versus my kid won this champion in the school, makes a difference. Participating in any of the programs is okay, not a problem, but does not mean to say that it is going to make an impact. So, for example, if the student might be acting as example, this is the general thing. A student might be doing 10 activities, absolutely not a problem. But if he is excelling in one particular activity that has more impact and more bearing than student involved in 10 particular activities. So we have to be carefully navigating what is the student involved and interested in. That should be able to speak. For example, if the student says that I'm in this club, I'm in HOSA club, I'm in BPA club, I'm in all those things, versus if a student says that I've done excellency in photography and conducted seminars and attended that, and each of my photography online we sell it for a couple of $1,000, and then I'm more passionate about it. That might have an impact on the business school that he's applying to. So we have to be very careful.
Right. So next question from Sumalata Garu. My son is on H4 visa now. Can you let me know whether he will be eligible for internships?
So especially when student is applying for internships, the answer is yes, but we have to be very careful when you're applying for internships, because anybody is on an H1 or H4 dependency, there is something called paid internships or unpaid internships or volunteering. So anything that is paid, you have to be very, very, very careful when you're doing all these paid internships, because bear in mind that if a student is paid, then it should be informed to the school. The reason being, one small mistake might hurt the entire application process, including visa for a particular student. So Be very careful, especially a student is on an H4 visa status, H4 or a dependent visa status, be it or a H4 or an F2 or whatever I'm just talking about whatever it is. But if he is not a US citizen or a permanent resident, you have to have a school permission so that the entire status, visa status should not have any impact. Yes, a student can work. Yes, a student can volunteer. Yes, a student can do internships on being on a H4. It is not going to impact it. Chances and opportunities might be very less, but there are opportunities. That's for sure.
Thank you. So next question from Platinum. How to apply scholarship while applying admission?
So every school has a scholarship application along with the regular applications. So when they're applying for the school, then the student has to go through the scholarship application and then start applying for the school. It depends on the school whether the student gets a scholarship, and if so, how much. That is different. Why? Because every school has certain amount of funds that needs to be given to as scholarships to the students. Obviously, these are the scholarship for the students. So put your application and then let the school make a decision. So there might be departmental scholarship, there might be admission scholarships, there might be holistic scholarships also. So you never know about it. So have a conversation with your admission officials or the financial aid officials or the bursar office or any of the grants or any of these people. Talk to the registrar office or the bursar office and the admissions office. They'll be able to guide you well. So all these departments are quite structured. But be very careful that, let the parents also be involved in terms of making all these decisions, please.
Okay. So the next question from Sri Mrunalini Agasthyaraju. So the question is, how do admissions officers view extracurricular activities and what they look in for application essay?
So application essays are detrimental in terms of making a decision, or it is going to be very impactful in terms of, this is a very good question, by the way, Ravi garu. This is very, very important question. So when it is coming for an essays, there are, so essays has essays, supplemental essays, and personal statements. So these three things are completely different. Essays, personal statements, and supplemental essays. These are quite different. So a student is applying for it. Then some schools may come back and say that write an essay, supplemental essay, and also your personal statement. Trust me, each and every essay, if you're applying for any of the quality schools or a good schools, then each and every essay, sometimes it may take a couple of months to write an essay, So we have to be very, very, very careful because every line will be read by the decision committee. So whenever there are interviews for that particular student, then they are going to, they may ask these things, hey, on this application, in your personal essay or in your supplemental essay, you mentioned this. Can you elaborate what is your view on this particular statement? Okay. So essays are detrimental in terms of making any decisions. So these are all the, how important it is, absolutely important. In terms of length and size, it should not cross more than 750 words, anywhere between 500 to 750 words. The gist needs to be conveyed. And at the same point of time, it should be something different. Why you are compelling to take this particular degree or a particular program. For example, just to quote my own experience, when I was planning to write when I was applying for MA in career counseling program, there were essays as well as personal statement as well. So though I know the difference, I had to spend approximately about 3 months for my essay and about another 3 plus close to about 6 months together for my essay as well as a personal statement. Because I know that when I'm being interviewed, they're going to ask me each and everything that they're going to ask me. And trust me, when I was interviewed, they really asked me all these questions. Okay, you said this statement, why? You want to see this, why? What is the difference? Even this last week, my graduate advisor had an interview with my graduate advisor for about an hour. They said 45 minutes, but it went for an hour. And they said that you just started the program. Are you enjoying it? Is it something that is what you're interested in? Is it something that you're pursuing? Is it going to make a living out of you? What is that you're trying to do this? I want to understand. But I said, Dr. Scott, I have about 15 plus years of experience in career counseling and about 30 years of college admissions counseling experience. Oh, immediately she said, oh, so you need a degree. I understand where exactly you're coming from. And few things that I was talking to her, she said that it, oh, Ravi, 2016, you have to, 2026, you have to do this. So start doing some things from now onwards. So those are all confidential things that we are working on. So I said, okay. So I started working on what I have to do as a practicum and internships in 2026. I need permission from now itself. So I'm initiating these kind of conversations. So I don't see any difference because even now, even I'm a permanent resident over here, but still I'm doing all these things 3 years ahead of my time. So these are the things that are going to be opening up one's eyes and ears when they are pursuing, especially for the kids.
So Ravi Garu, this is Anil. Before you go, can we be a little shorter to answer because we have a lot of questions and it's going to take a lot of time.
Absolutely.
So
We will do
let
that.
it be point to
Sure,
point.
thank you.
Thanks. Go ahead, Ravi.
Thank you.
Yeah. So next question is from Purnima Janadla. Is there any advantage of completing graduation earlier than regular schedule?
I mean, you're getting into a job, or if you're getting into a job or any other hire, absolutely you can complete your pre-courses early and then finish up. There's no problem at all. It is good for the student that the student is saving certain time.
Okay. And I think you mentioned about a non-profit organization and also a company name, right? So they're asking a question from Satyakara and KS. What is the non-profit organization called again? And can I have that company name?
Firstexperience.org. Number one, stexperience.org. Firstexperience.org.
All right. Thank you, sir. So next question from Giridhar. I'm on H1B. Can I do master or diploma now without changing the current status?
You can. Absolutely, you can. There is nothing is stopping you.
Okay. So, and we have, I think, just three more questions. So the next one is from Doodle Activity Bear. My kids are junior and sophomore, but they are on H4 visa now. AOS is not filed yet due to GC backlog. They are interested in pre-med as their major. So will there be any problems for them?
See, in terms of your adjustment of status, I think Biden administration has given some kind of a leeway. If you're falling within that leeway, then definitely there is no problem as such. But to give the correct answer, I would say that talk to the immigration attorney, whether your AOS, that is called adjustment of status, and then your application is falling within that stipulated time, which the immigration rules cover, yes or no. So talking to an immigration attorney will help you out.
Okay. So next question from Harshita Sridhar. I'm interested in pursuing dental. Can I start internship starting from 9th grade?
Absolutely. Why not?
And next question from Sam M. We live in Texas. Our daughter wants to join UT Austin for BS in CS as major and business as minor. She is in top percentage based on GPA. Can she get automatic admission in Austin as she is already top 2%?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
UT Austin has a condition that if you are less than 6%, then you're an automatical entry into the program.
So the next question from Satya Kara. Would letter of recommendations help? If you meet the criteria for the school I'm applying, is there a good change that you might get in? Is there a good chance, I think, you might get in?
Letter of recommendations will definitely make a difference. Absolutely. And it will make a difference also. It will also have an impact on the applications as well. Because professors are able to speak about you.
All right. So we are going with the last question, sir. This is from AVR Networks. Could someone type the first experience link here. I think, I think you got that. So my son is on H4B, and how the selected majors would impact his future careers after the studies, as he is not a citizen.
I mean, the interest and the citizenship are both are different. And definitely, citizenship definitely makes it. It helps you in the immigration standpoint of view, but it is not going to make a difference in terms of your career as well. So there are a lot of opportunities. It may be delayed by, for example, it may be delayed in terms of your green card processing. That is different. It's then purely an immigration question. But when it comes for a success in the career, so that is not going to have an impact on this one. And off late, probably many of the immigration and many of the people are absolutely aware of possibilities of EB5. You can explore all those opportunities as well. There is nothing wrong.
Okay. So I think with this, we have come to the end of all those questions, sir. And ఇంకా మనకు 2 నిమిషాలు ఉంది, but thank you very much, Ravi garu. Would you like to say anything before we conclude this?
So I should be thanking American Telugu Association for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge and experience with all the community. My company name is US Admissions. I'm doing completely a voluntary service for the community. Any questions or any time that you have any questions, please feel free to call me or ask me any questions or email me. That is not a problem at all. And I'll share my email address with you. It is ravilothamala@yahoo.com. We are, the most important thing is we are not making more as a business or a promotion, but we are going to help in making a difference for each and every student with the experience that I have, with the knowledge that I have. And especially for the permanent residents and US citizens, I would like to state that I follow the principles of the NACAC, NAFSA, and the USCIS rules and regulations. I'm not associated with any university nor influenced with any university in terms of admissions nor the internships. But I'm here to help every student in pursuing their careers.
Thank you, Ravi garu. It's wonderful to have you here. ఎన్నో విలువైన విషయాల్ని మీ లోతైన అనుభవంతో, పరిజ్ఞానంతో రంగరించి ఈరోజు మా వ్యూవర్స్ అడిగిన అన్ని ప్రశ్నలకి చాలా ఓపికగా అన్ని సూచనలు, సలహాలు ఇచ్చారు, సమాధానాలు ఇచ్చారు. దానికి మీకు చాలా చాలా ధన్యవాదాలు మాట తరఫున. అండ్ డెఫినెట్లీ మీరు ఇచ్చిన ఈ సూచనలు, సలహాలు మా వ్యూవర్స్కి ఎక్కడో దగ్గర ఖచ్చితంగా ఉపయోగపడతాయని మేము విశ్వసిస్తున్నామండి ఆన్ దేర్ కిడ్స్ జర్నీ టువర్డ్స్ పర్సూయింగ్ హైయర్ స్టడీస్. సో ఈరోజు ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి ఇలా వచ్చి మీ అమూల్యమైన మీ సమయాన్ని వెచ్చించినందుకు మీకు చాలా చాలా హృదయపూర్వక ధన్యవాదాలు ఆటా తరఫున. అలాగే మా వ్యూవర్స్ అందరికి కూడా, ఈరోజు వీక్షించిన వ్యూవర్స్ అందరికి కూడా, అలాగే మీ ప్రశ్నలు అడిగినందుకు అందరికీ చాలా చాలా ధన్యవాదాలు. ఈ రికార్డింగ్ మీకు యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్లో లభ్యం ఉంటుంది. సో దీన్ని మీరు యూ కెన్ షేర్ విత్ యువర్ ఫ్రెండ్స్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిలీస్ హూ ఆర్ ఇస్ ఇన్ నీడ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ వాల్యుబుల్ ప్రోగ్రామ్. సో ఈ కాలేజ్ అడ్మిషన్స్ అండ్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ ప్లానింగ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఇక్కడితో ముగిసింది. సో ఈరోజు వచ్చిన పాల్గొన్న వారందరికీ కూడా పేరు పేరు ధన్యవాదాలు.
రవి గారు, బిఫోర్ యు గో,
ఇదిగిదిగో అందుకోండి అట్లాంటా ఆట సభల పిలుపు. ఇదిగిదిగో అందుకోండి అట్లాంటా ఆట సభల పిలుపు. తెలుగు వారిని కలుసుకోగా, అట్లాంటా అభిమానాన్ని పంచుకోగా. ఇదిగిదిగో అందుకోండి అట్లాంటా ఆట సభల పిలుపు. తెలుగు జాతి బలము ఆట. వేదికగా, సేవలకు అఖండ జ్యోతిగా, ఆట ప్రతి అడుగేయంగా ఔన్నత్యం ధర్మపథం సారథులై నడిపించగా, ఆహా ఆహా ఫళ ఆట ఆదర్శం ఆట చరిత. వెలుగులీను మన తెలుగు జాతి ప్రకాశాన్ని వెదజల్లగా, యువతరాల ఉన్నతికై ప్రోత్సాహం అందించగా, పలు రంగాల ప్రముఖులను కీర్తించగా చేరండి, నలుదిక్కుల ప్రతిభావంతులను గుర్తించగా కనరండి, సాదరంగా చేయండి, కలిసి మెలిసి ఆడి పాడండి. ఆహా ఆహా ఫళ ఆట అను పెరుగని శక్తి ఆట, ఆహా ఆహా ఫళ ఆట అసమాన సేవ ఆట, అట్లాంటాలో ఆట.
సో ఈరోజు ఈరోజు ఆటలో పాల్గొన్న అతిథులు రవి లోతమల్ గారికి ఆటా సంస్థ తరఫున, మా ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కమిటీ బృందం తరఫున హృదయపూర్వక ధన్యవాదాలు. అలాగే ఈ వేదిక కృషి వెనుక ఉన్న ఆట కార్యవర్గ బృందం, ప్రెసిడెంట్ మధు బొమ్మినేని గారు, ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఎలెక్ట్ జయంత్ చర్మ గారు, ఆట ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ కమిటీ, ఆట ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ కమిటీ, బోర్డ్ ఆఫ్ ట్రస్టీస్, ఆట అడ్వైజరీ టీమ్, రీజనల్ కోఆర్డినేటర్స్, రీజనల్ డైరెక్టర్స్, రీజనల్ అడ్వైజర్స్, స్టాండింగ్ కమిటీస్, ఆట కాన్ఫరెన్స్ టీమ్, ఆట అడ్హాక్ టీమ్, ఆట కాన్ఫరెన్స్ అడ్వైజరీ టీమ్. ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ని మన ముందుకు ఈ రోజు ప్లాన్ చేసి మన వెనక ఉండి అన్ని సిద్ధం చేసిన బోర్డ్ ఆఫ్ ట్రస్టీ శారదా సింగ్ రెడ్డి గారికి ప్రత్యేక ధన్యవాదాలు. ఈవెంట్ ప్రమోషన్ కొరకు సహకరించిన ఆట సోషల్ మీడియా టీమ్ కి ప్రత్యేక ధన్యవాదాలు. ఈవెంట్ రిలే ఆట తెలుగు టీవీ ఛానల్ నుండి బ్రాడ్కాస్ట్ చేసిన ఏబిఆర్ ప్రొడక్షన్ టీమ్, అనిల్ బోదిరెడ్డి, టెక్నీషియన్ నవీన్, మరియు ప్రింట్ మీడియా తెలుగు ఎన్ఆర్ రేడియో, ఐఏషియా న్యూస్, ENI తెలుగు టైమ్స్, ఇతర ప్రింట్ మీడియా మిత్రులందరికీ ధన్యవాదాలు. ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ చూస్తున్న ప్రేక్షకులందరికీ ధన్యవాదాలు. వచ్చే ఆట ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ లో మళ్ళీ తిరిగి కలుద్దాం. సర్వేజన సుఖినో భవంతు.
ఇదిగిదిగో అందుకోండి అట్లాంటా ఆట సభల పిలుపు, ఇదిగిదిగో అందుకోండి అట్లాంటా ఆట సభల పిలుపు, తెలుగు వారిని కలుసుకోగా అట్లాంటా అభిమానాన్ని పంచుకోగా, ఇదిగిదిగో అందుకోండి అట్లాంటా ఆట సభల పిలుపు. ఆహా ఫళ ఆట తెలుగు జాతి బలము ఆట, సకల కళలకు వేదికగా, సేవలకు అఖండ జ్యోతిగా ఆట ప్రతి అడుగేయంగా ఔన్నత్యం ధర్మపథం సారథులై నడిపించగా ఆహా ఆహా బళ ఆట ఆదర్శం ఆట చరిత వెలుగులీను మన తెలుగు జాతి ప్రకాశాన్ని వెదజల్లగా యువతరాల ఉన్నతికై ప్రోత్సాహం అందించగా పలు రంగాల ప్రముఖులను కీర్తించగా చేరండి నలుదిక్కుల ప్రతిభావంతులను గుర్తించగా కనరండి సాదరంగా చేయండి కలిసి మెలిసి ఆడి పాడండి ఆహా ఆహా బళ ఆట అలు పెరుగని శక్తి ఆట